Defense Minister Sajjan has been using the Canadian government fleet of Challenger jets like they are his personal minivan. Defense Minister Sajjan has racked up more than $670,000 in flight costs accumulated in just 17 months, flying around in the government jet fleet. He traveled more often in the expensive planes than even the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Chrystia Freeland. The Globe and Mail now reports that in February 2017, Sajjan was the lone passenger on a Challenger jet flying from Ottawa to Washington, D.C., and then that same Challenger with just Sajjan on it flew to his home in Vancouver. The cost for the taxpayer for that one junket alone was over $36,000. Another time in December 2016, Sajjan flew from Ottawa to the Trenton military base rather than make a 2.5-hour drive in his government-funded limousine. The cost to Trenton, $6,358. Sajjan took a Challenger jet 3 times in 2017 to Washington, D.C. I checked this morning, there are at least 4 direct flights per day from Ottawa to Washington, D.C. These aren't onerous flights, they're only about an hour and 45 minutes long. So why isn't Sajjan hopping on one of these if he has meetings with General Mattis or, well, anybody else in Washington, D.C.? So I emailed Sajjan's office looking for comment, really an explanation as to why he isn't flying commercial to a popular spot like Washington. The defense minister's spokeswoman, a person named Bern Furlong, gave me this statement. Given the importance of a relationship with the United States, we often travel between the capitals. It is important to note that we often must travel in the mornings and flights are not always available at this time due to ministerial commitments in Ottawa. What? They have to travel in the morning? I don't think this is a very good excuse, and I don't even think they're trying to concoct excuses anymore. Why not just shuffle around your ministerial meetings in the morning so that you can hop a commercial flight or take a flight down the night before like a normal person would? Now, before someone brings up former Conservative Defense Minister Peter MacKay and his use of the Challenger jets, let me put this into a little bit of perspective. Yes, Peter MacKay did use the Challenger jets a lot. I didn't care for it when he did it. But here's the context that is missing. Sajjan took 20 trips in just 17 months, totaling 206 hours of flying time. Conservative Defense Minister Peter MacKay took 35 trips, but he did that in nearly 4 years, from the beginning of 2008 to the end of 2011, and spent a total of 250 hours in the air. Sajjan is going to blow right past that if he keeps up at his current pace. Each one of those flight hours costs the Canadian taxpayer $14,891, every single one. MacKay was rightly raked over the coals for his travel costs. The opposition parties, like the Liberals, even accused him of using Canadian government aircraft like his personal limo. Go figure. But there's another factor to consider when looking at MacKay's travel. Canada was also at war in Afghanistan during the time MacKay took all those flights. He had a much bigger job to do than Sajjan does now. I think Sajjan is inflating his importance by taking the Challenger. He wants to feel important like his powerful American counterpart, General Mattis. And we know that Sajjan likes to feel important, don't we? It's probably the reason he embellished his military service, saying he was the architect of Operation Medusa, Canada's biggest offensive during our country's time in Kandahar. Sajjan was a major in the reserves when Operation Medusa went down. He certainly wasn't high enough on the ladder to be the person doing the planning, all of the planning. Canada's veterans called baloney on Sajjan's story. Sajjan ultimately apologized, and we called for him to resign at firesajjan.ca, but Sajjan didn't. Like Liberals of old, Sajjan feels entitled to his entitlements, including his own special version of the truth. And now Sajjan is entitled to utter convenience. He doesn't want to wait at the airport. He doesn't want to rearrange his meetings to take a commercial flight. He's entitled to easy, convenient air travel. But this really isn't just a Harjit Sajjan problem, is it? I think it's more of a Liberal government workplace culture problem. There is a complete and total absence of top-down leadership when it comes to responsible use of taxpayer dollars for pretty well everything the government does, but for travel in particular. Through access to information filings, we discovered Bill Morneau's assistant taking expensive water taxi rides when she was in Italy for meetings. She didn't even bother to submit her paper receipts for hundreds of dollars of these expenses. But when you have people like Chrystia Freeland using taxpayer dollars to hop a flight, to invite herself to a play with the Prime Minister in New York, and the Prime Minister himself taking private helicopter rides with the Aga Khan, everything becomes permissible. As they say, the fish rots from the top down. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunry. Did you know that I have my own full-length show here at the Rebel? It is called The Gun Show, and we focus on Alberta and Canadian politics. To get access to my show and all of our amazing premium content, be sure to become a Rebel subscriber today.